Welcome to Lesson 2 of the Python Game Development course. Carmen here from Camp 180. Before we jump in, let's quickly review the homework from our last lesson. You should now have Python installed on your system, and Visual Studio Code should be installed and ready to go. If anything went wrong during the installation, remember you can find the step-by-step guide on our Gumroad page. In this lesson, we're going to explore the basics of VS Code. We'll cover how to navigate the interface, install useful extensions, and adjust a few settings that will make your workflow more efficient and more comfortable. Let's start by looking around the VS Code interface. When you first open VS Code, you'll see several main sections that we'll use throughout the course. On the far left-hand side, you'll see the activity bar. This is where you can switch between different tools. Let's go through a few of the important ones from top to bottom. The first icon is the Explorer. This is where you'll view and open your project folders and files. Next is Search, which lets you find text across all the files in your project. Then there's Source Control, or Git, which we'll use later to share and track code. Below that is the Run and Debug tab, which helps you run your Python programs and fix errors during development. And finally, the square icon is the Extensions tab. We'll use this to install helpful tools like the Python extension. When you click one of these icons, the sidebar opens next to it. This is where you'll see your file tree, search results, or extensions depending on what you selected. The big area in the middle is called the editor. This is where we'll write our Python code. You can open multiple files in tabs, just like a browser. And finally, along the bottom of the screen is the status bar. It gives you useful information about your workspace. Now, let's create a space for our Python projects inside Visual Studio Code. From the top menu, click on File, then Open Folder. You'll see your file browser open. From here, you can either choose an existing folder or create a new one. Since this is our first project, I'll create a new folder and call it something like Python Games. Once you select the folder and click Open, it'll load into VS Code. You'll now see the folder name listed in the Explorer tab on the left-hand side. Let's add a new file to this folder. Right-click in the space below the file name in the Explorer. Choose New File and name the file hello.py. The .py extension tells VS Code that this is a Python file. Click the file to open it in the editor. Inside, type the following line of code. Print Hello World. This is often the very first program anyone writes, and it simply tells Python to display or print a message on the screen. Now let's save the file. You can do this by clicking File and then Save, or use your keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+S. And that's it. You've just created your first Python file inside your project folder. We'll learn how to run this file using the terminal in a future lesson. But for now, take note of how VS Code recognizes the file as Python. It automatically highlights the code and gives us helpful formatting. This is one of the reasons we use VS Code. It makes writing Python feel smoother and more visual. Now that we've set up our workspace and created our first Python file, let's install a couple of important extensions to make VS Code smarter and easier to use for Python development. To do that, go to the activity bar on the left side and click the square icon. That's the Extensions tab. You can also open it by pressing Ctrl+Shift+X. At the top, you'll see a search bar. Type in Python and look for the one published by Microsoft. This is the official Python extension, and it's essential for what we'll be doing in this course. Click Install and give it a moment to set up. Next, in the same search bar, type Pylance. This is optional but highly recommended extension that works together with Python. You can think of Pylance as the brain that helps VS Code give better suggestions and warnings while you type. Once these extensions are installed, VS Code will understand Python much better. Now, let's take a moment to customize VS Code. In the bottom left corner of the screen, click the gear icon. This opens the Settings menu. Then select Settings from the list. You'll see a new tab open with a long list of configuration options. First, let's increase the font size. Type Ctrl F to search. In the search bar at the top, type font size. Then scroll down until you see editor font size. Change the value from the default to something like 16 or 18. This will make the text easier to read, especially if you're working on a small screen. Next, let's set up autosave. In the same search bar, type autosave. When it appears, enable it by choosing off the delay. This will automatically save your files a few seconds after you stop typing. It's a small change, but it helps avoid mistakes and lost progress. Now let's enable word wrap. Search for word wrap and turn it on. This makes long lines of code or comments automatically wrap to the text to the next line instead of disappearing off the edge of the screen. Finally, you can change the color theme to whatever feels comfortable. Just type theme into the search bar and click on color theme to browse your options. If you prefer a brighter interface, try something like light plus. If you like a darker, softer look, choose dark plus. I will continue using the default theme, dark modern. You can always change your theme later. Play around with it before the next lesson and pick whatever feels good for your eyes. One more tip. If you ever want to customize keyboard shortcuts or just see what's available, you can open the keyboard shortcut panel by pressing Ctrl K followed by Ctrl S. And if you're on a Mac, it's Command K followed by Command S. This will show you all the key combinations that you can use to speed up your workflow. These small tweaks make a big difference as you start coding more regularly, and we'll continue to adjust things as we go. So, that's a quick intro to VS Code. We opened a folder, created a file, installed Python extensions, and tweaked a few settings to make coding more comfortable. In the next lesson, we'll write and run our very first Python script. Thanks again for following along. Make sure you've installed the Python extensions and created your first hello.py file before moving on. We've also put together a free PDF guide that covers everything we learned today about VS Code. You can download it from our Gumroad page. Take your time, get comfortable with VS Code, and I'll see you in the next lesson.